darker.
It's okay. You look fine. You look fine, I swear. I can see it from my end.
You look fine, too.
I know. Welcome to Talk to Ya, the father and daughter podcast you've never heard of nor asked for. I'm Ari.
And I'm Aaron.
And we've got some fans, so they are asking for it, aren't they?
Oh, they're asking for it, all right.
They're asking for it.
I wanna.
Why I wanna. Do you remember? This was my thing I used to do when I was a wee little lad.
Yeah.
My first really bit, not my first, one of many bits I like to do. I would do the slow-mo punch, the woo, and then miss whoever I'm punching.
Right.
And then it goes back. I'm like, no. Punch myself in the face. I swear to God, that is more efficient than peekaboo with babies to anyone.
We ought to try that.
The old try to punch you in slow-mo, but actually punch yourself works like a charm on anyone, any age, any identity.
Right.
Again, it's the new peekaboo.
Well, when my daughters have babies, we can try that.
Well,
if I'm still alive.
Yeah. I was about to say, good luck with that one, champ.
Yeah.
So let me tell you, setting up for today was pretty funny because something that I like to say I probably get from mom is I don't like replacing my items until I've really just worn them out. You know what I mean? So I will not give up on something until it's really on its final limb. Okay. For example, I had a soap dispenser I finally replaced that everyone and their mothers would get frustrated with because as they pump, the nozzle would always pop out. This was like statistically 1 out of every 5 times. So okay. It frustrated me too. Not enough though. I waited until that was really broken to get a new one. My ring light iPhone holder. So I use my ring light to hold my phone that records this podcast. Because it has a stand that is specifically it's a spring stand that you're supposed to just put your phone in and it cradles. Now, I've roughed this ring light around a little bit, especially with the phone. So that part is broken.
Okay.
Not replaceable broken yet, to my standards. Many would already think about getting a new one because not only is that broken, the actual part of the ring light where the light is, that pops off too. That's broken. Okay. It's multiple parts of this thing that are broken. But what I have right now is my iPhone on that very stand with an orange hair tie wrapped around it, holding it up. That hair tie is actually doing more for my phone than the ring light and stand itself.
Hey, I mean, whatever gets you there.
Listen, man, I'm telling you, it's until this thing gives up on me, I'm not giving up on it. And that's the cancer in me. That's the maternal instinct. That's
hey, that saves money.
Unconditional love. Have you heard of it?
I've heard of it. Don't know much about it, but I've heard of it.
And no, you know what's even funnier though? Let me tell you this. Before, it was less of a struggle. I'd actually pop it in, put the hair tie over. It was fine. Today was the first time I'm using my phone with my new phone case that also I wore out to actual shreds. So the phone case itself, which, you know, I've learned not to get the clear phone cases anymore. I always do because I get iPhones that I like the color of. So mine's purple right now. So I want people to see it, but the clear ones get sun bleached and damaged. So they always yellow out. No matter how much I clean mine every day, it's not dirt. It's the sun that damages it. So they always look a little funky. And then there's shards of the plastic that come off, you know, through time as you drop it and it breaks. On top of that, the actual exterior, what do you call it? It's just like the phone cover that goes over the glass on your phone. You know,
oh, yeah.
That also had a full line a crack that was through it. Not that you could feel it, but you could see it.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, it's time to replace both. So I went to the biblically accurate Apple store at the Grove. And
that is a huge store.
It is unnecessarily ginormous. I don't use the word ginormous often, but that is a ginormous store. It's so tall. It's almost like you're walking into a cathedral. You look up and it's all mirrors, so you see yourself and all the other scared civilians inside. And there are literal trees growing through the ground, right? That lead a pathway all the way down, which feels like infinity, really, when you walk in. I know there's an end, but it doesn't feel like it, and I'm honestly too scared to find out.
So you, at the end, isn't that what do they call those nerds?
Heaven. That's what it's at the end.
When you get your phone fixed at Apple Store, you go to the Apple Creeps. What are they called?
Oh, no, those are all around.
The name, is the Genius Bar.
No. The Genius Bar is everywhere. It's now that you walk in and there's geniuses. There's tables all in the middle. Everyone's sitting down at tables with their item, like scared of each other and like looking around helplessly for their genius person. Luckily, I was blessed with an angel. I know how to find him too. I was walking around the store acting like I knew what I was doing until I found the right one. And then I started looking clueless, right? I started doing the whole like, can I help you, man? Oh, yes, actually. I think I know what phone case I want and screen protector. And she goes, perfect. So she gets out. I get this new phone case, and it's a tough one, but it's also like it's not like a smooth back. Well, it is smooth, but it's like almost rubbery and matted.
Ribbed, isn't it?
No. It's flat, but it's rubbery and matted. That's the material I can describe it as. It's not. It's like it has some friction to it. You know what I mean? New sign. Thank you, Mom.
I'll tell you about the sign in a minute, but is it an otter?
It's Apple's brand that I think collaborated with OtterBox. Talk about it.
In our previous podcasts, because of all sorts of things that I won't know or go into.
Oh, Rico. Yeah.
It sounded like you were talking over me on many occasions when in fact you weren't. So I was telling your mother, my wife, about this, and so she made this sign so that after I speak and I'm finished speaking, I go like this.
That's right.
You pause, give enough time, and then you talk. And then you hit the pause. Now, I know that's ridiculous, but I thought that was really cute of Mom to do that.
Very sweet.
Now, she also made this, which is not the flag of Sweden.
Or Japan.
Or Japan. It's like, stop, hold off, but we don't need this flag.
Right.
So I'm throwing that flag away. I'm keeping the pause just in case we need it. There you go.
Listen, I love you and appreciate that you're blaming it on technical issues because that is what was happening for a while. Don't get me wrong. I went into the deep web to find a temporary fix to our problem, which is why we have different editing right now. But nevertheless.
It was your fault?
No.
Oh, okay.
Never. First of all, never my fault. But second of all, no, it actually wasn't. Riverside, and I know I'll be smited for saying this, isn't the best platform, and many were having the same issue as me. But I found a way to temporarily fix the issue. So
okay, good.
Nevertheless, though, our family is notorious for talking over each other. We are worse than The View. It's pretty bad as it is. So whether we have technical issues or not, we do need those signs. I can't wait to get mine because you're worse than me. Okay, back to the Apple story.
Back to the Apple Store.
Did I make you cry? I'm sorry.
No, allergies.
That's what they all say. Mm-hmm. So, this sweet soul, brings over the case, my screen protector. I got an anti-glare screen protector.
That is fancy.
Very fancy, because not only can I just always see what's going on my phone, right? Without having to be like, son. But also, it has a pretty smooth top, like the phone case I got. It has a similar texture thing going on. So right now, my phone feels brand spanking new, right? Even though it's the phone I've been having. I just upgraded the appliances.
The appearances.
The appearances, the aesthetics, the alliteration. But this phone case is a little slimmer than my last. So she's slippery in my makeshift setup. That's where I was getting at the end of the day.
Can I ask a question?
Where's your sign? There you go. Yes.
Do you have to get a whole new thing, or just a little thing that holds the phone?
Whole new thing, but these things are cheap as hell, and my first one was a gift from Mother, which I never even thought I needed. But her Libra motherly intuition knew that
at some point
her narcissistic daughter needed this. And she was right.
Yeah.
She was right. So, yeah, I'll get a new one probably now that it's less compatible with my phone situation. But like I said, I will wear things out until they basically can't work for me anymore. Okay, and that's that.
I admire that.
You should admire it. I'm a very smart, capable young lady.
Oh, okay.
So let me talk about today. What's today, right? May 9th. It's a Tuesday. We post on Tuesdays, if you couldn't already tell. If you pay attention, you'll notice that. We're professionals. We track our national days. And what's today, you ask? I know you've been waiting for it. What's today? National Meatball Day. What do you think about that?
When you think about National Meatball Day in general, you're thinking about the little meatballs that people make that go with spaghetti, right?
Spaghetti, sometimes as an appetizer, right? Maybe sometimes with the rice pilaf.
But not with you. When you hear of National Meatball Day, what do you think about?
I think of myself. No, I think of I think of Jersey Shore as someone who was raised by reality show fanatics. I think of Jersey Shore, and for a few reasons. One, Snooki and Dina, who are meatballs themselves, helped me understand the definition of what a meatball is, right? And what it means to be a meatball.
And I believe that you fit 2 out of the 3 definitions.
2/3 and
2.5
and a half, right? So maybe 2. Can you do? You can't do 2 fractions over another. You can't do 2.5 over 3, right? It becomes a new fraction.
That's right.
So what is that?
I have no idea. Okay.
Yeah, right. Me neither.
Wasn't great on fractions.
Oh, wasn't great on math.
Wasn't great in school. Okay, but that's another story.
Wasn't great.
Let me put it this way. The first person that graduated in our family
was my big sister.
Was your sister. My father, no. My mother, no. My in-laws, no. Mommy, no. Me, no.
Me, no.
You know.
Me,
and no,
no.
no. And no, no.
And no, no. No, yeah, I followed your legacy with dropping out.
Right. I didn't drop out. I didn't. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, you didn't drop out. You just did like.
I just went to college. Like just to get my real estate license.
Right, right.
And I had no reason why I wanted to go to college, just to wait till I was old enough to get my license. So okay, I didn't go to college to go to college.
To go to college. I feel you.
Yeah.
I went to college to go to college, but
didn't work out.
Yeah, and I'm glad it didn't because
you're too smart for college, aren't you?
I'm smarter than every person in that establishment, professors included.
There you go.
I have a genius they couldn't even teach there.
You were so far ahead of your time
So far ahead, which is why I'm not a complete meatball, because part of being a meatball is also being a little ditzy. I think I have the characteristics of the ditz without having the qualifications of the stupidity part. But I'm short. I can be pretty tan, especially in the summer, and I like to party. And that's just really what a meatball is, a little partier, okay?
But let me clarify for the folks that know that show, just...
Oh, of course.
You're not a complete drunk like the meatballs are.
I'm not a complete meatball. I'm not a marinated meatball, okay?
You're 2/3 meatball.
I'm a frozen meatball.
You're a frozen meatball. Okay. And we love meatballs, but let's talk about meatballs themselves.
Yeah, the guy. Meatball the guy. the person. No. That
guy named himself, I don't even, listen, I grew up in the 60s. I don't even get that. How do you call yourself Meatball? No, seriously. How do you name yourself Meatball? Do you have any history on that, by the way? I don't. I should look it up.
I think there can be a lot of connotation, to be perfectly honest, when you think of that. And I think Bob, you know what? That was Bob saying, don't say it on air. And he's absolutely right. But let's get back into actual meatballs themselves.
Okay, let's talk about that.
I, for one, think what makes a good meatball, you have to make it primarily, if not all beef. What do you think?
No.
Okay.
No, a good meatball should have veal.
Okay.
Should have beef.
Okay.
Should have pork.
Okay.
And lamb. Now, hold on. Predominantly beef with all those other three meats combined. And then the question is the best way to pan fry them or to put them in the oven?
Let me tell you. So it depends on the size. So if you're doing mini meatballs, you're going to want to pan fry them. If you're doing them big old hunkers, you got to put them in the oven, or else you're going to get too pink of a middle. I can handle some pink in my meat, but when I got a meatball, I want as little pink as possible, or I will hurl.
Okay. So you're not a rare meat person.
Not at all. And I was at one point, but no, that has gone far away. I can't even, there's just something, maybe veganism has infiltrated my brain, but the more the more I realize there's animal now, I think is what's messing with me. But also the taste has messed with me more. I need it to be cooked through, or else if I taste anything that's too bloody, again, chunk city. Okay. I want to enjoy it.
Do you like a little crispy on the outside or no? It's a little crispy on the outside.
I like crisp. I like whatever. But regardless, I think Mom does them the best, if not up there.
Yeah. She does a good meatball.
Cook on the side. They're very greasy. They're very flavorful. And I think she usually does all, if not predominantly, beef. And
she does beef, and
sometimes she'll just do ground beef. She has mixed it with lamb and other stuff, which again, I love a lamb meatball.
Veal. But here's the thing with veal. Years ago in California, and I don't remember when, 10 years
veal
ago.
Isn't veal anymore, thank God.
Baby veal you cannot get in California anymore because California.
It's inhumane.
You can't kill those little baby veals. Unfortunately, the problem is this. You can't get a good veal now. You get a good veal piccata. No, it's non-existent. But that's okay.
I can't get a little baby cow to eat.
So I can do a chicken piccata or it's just I understand why, I get why, but I still like to go. I'd still like to go to Italy where they kill those babies as soon as they come out of the fucking womb. Okay.
Well, and also there's just different methods that I think the way that the methods of slaughtering here versus out of the country are very vast, different. I already hear another call from Bob.
Yeah, listen.
But
if we have to know how meat is slaughtered, we wouldn't eat any of it.
Well, and that's kind of the point that vegans and vegetarians make every day, which they're right to be making, which is if you really knew this, you wouldn't be eating it. And they're right. And every time I learn about something that's especially more on like on a health, level, of exposure or whatever, when I find out how much cow anus I'm eating, I get a little uneasy. But
well, I've never had cow ass myself, but tell me if you have. Here's the deal. Let me ask you a question. In the caveman days,
right? Did they eat ass? Cow ass?
Weren't all those animals like much bigger than they are right now? Like, right, in other words, so
big time.
Right. So to me, and I'll be honest with you, I don't know this.
Mm-hmm.
The cavemen, it would seem to me, it would be easier to go around and get vegetables from plants. It's a lot harder to kill
they started
animals.
First of all,
and weren't those animals much bigger than they are now? So no, it was. We have guns. We have bow and arrows. How did they kill these huge animals and then eat them? So I would think, hey, just go out and get yourself, like some lettuce. You know what I mean?
Does lettuce have protein?
Well, okay. So your body needs protein. Is that what you're saying? That in the caveman, I'm asking in the caveman days.
What I'm telling you is through time, I think we can't. And of course, there's answers, but
we don't have them. You and I don't have those.
We don't know what their brains were like. They were just surviving, and I mean, obviously, there was areas that didn't have as much vegetation. There was areas that have. All I'm saying is you got to eat more than just vegetables. That's another thing.
Here's what I'm saying. You and I, if we went to college, we probably would have figured this out.
I know, in 5 minutes.
But I'm just conjecturing, okay?
Not a word.
It's not a word. But I'm just thinking to myself, because I don't know. You see all these movies, these huge, massive birds and massive animals and dinosaurs.
They figured it out.
I mean, they weren't killing those things. There's no way they were killing those things. So to me, it's like, why don't you just go down towards the river where there's water, and get yourself some lettuce, some celery.
Right. I mean, they were eating fish for a while. And
no, fish? Hey.
They were eating. You forgot about fish, didn't you?
Hey, and
you forgot about fish.
And you know me, I don't like fish. I like shellfish.
Hey,
I like crab and shrimp and this, but
I think, and there's probably some sort of word for it, like a phobia word for it. I don't know if it's a phobia or I haven't been able to really eat fish my entire life, and I've tried different types of fish. And what I've concluded is the only type of fish I can eat are like crab, lobster, calamari.
So you wait.
Bottom feeders.
In other words, non-kosher fish.
Yeah, and then
you eat crab. You eat crab.
Only crab cakes, or like if it's a crab, it has to be something. And again, I don't really voluntarily eat these things. It's just that that's one of my options of eating it. I might eat it, but like, I really don't eat fish ever.
But when you were a youngin'.
Oh, here we go. Are we going to talk about
And we used to go to our favorite restaurant here in town.
El Davide.
Who also did your sister's wedding.
Mm-hmm. Catered.
We would tell you that the calamari,
which was like, it wasn't individual pieces. It was like a flat fried calamari.
Right, like a fried calamari. We would tell you it's eggs.
Scrambled eggs. It looked, smelled, and tasted a little.
And you liked it.
It was delicious.
Right.
It was delicious.
Yeah. So we fooled you.
And the waiters were in on it. They'd be like, "Can we get the scrambled eggs?"
Yeah.
And they'd be like,
wink.
Ah.
Yeah.
And then eventually, I don't even know how I figured it out. I really don't. I don't know who spoiled it for me. But when we did, I was upset, but I kept eating it.
Yeah, kind of like, hearing that Santa Claus isn't real.
First of all the children viewers we have, you just ruined that. And we have many.
Not worried about it.
And second of all, I might as well tell that story. The way I found out about Santa Claus was at the same time as the Tooth Fairy, which is not a lot get that privilege. So I was getting a bit older. I want to say I was like 6 or 7. Yeah, around then. And, I'm losing my teeth and it's one night. And I remember Mom had a whole system for when I lost my teeth. And I kind of like caught her doing something. And I was like, that's strange.
Oh.
And so, I the next day asked her, I was like, did you put that under my pillow? Because she was like, she was kind of like, once I caught her, I could tell, like,
she couldn't lie to you, huh?
Yeah. And so she said something along, I forgot. She had a good explanation, but she was like, no. Mm-hmm. And, I was sad. And then I go to Ariel and I tell her, and, no. Mom goes, you know what? Don't feel bad about it. Ariel didn't find out about the Tooth Fairy until she was like 8 or 9. And so when I go to Ariel, I go, well, I just found about the Tooth Fairy, and I found out you didn't know that about her until you were 8 or 9. She goes, no, that was Santa Claus. And I was like, I turned as white as a ghost. I saw it on her face. She was like, oh, she realized what she had just done. She watched my world collapse, and that's when the tears came. That was harder.
Yeah. Well, listen.
And Mom was thrilled, by the way, because she's like, finally, I get the credit for that bicycle. Victory is mine.
That's a good one. That's a good one. But anyway, the long and the short of it is we love meatballs. We do, and there's different types, and we've had good ones, bad ones, and different ones. There's restaurants we've gone to where they're fabulous, where they're crappy, this,
right.
that.
Really good restaurants will have shit meatballs, I've noticed.
Yes, but here's the deal.
The best meatballs come from kind of like the most like run-down mom and pa. Like they'll season the hell out of them, fry pan them, cook them, oven them, oil them, vinegar them, all of the above. When
I was a teenager, I had a friend of mine.
You were a teenager?
I was at one time, centuries ago. And I used to go
when
on
Jesus
Sunday.
Walked.
Right. When I used to go to a friend of mine whose family was Italian, and they used to have the Sunday suppers.
Right.
Around 2:00 in the afternoon, we'd go over to his house. And there would be this massive meal of, you couldn't even eat everything, the salads and the this and the antipasta and then the pasta and then the main course and 3 of it, and that was the real stuff. Like that's where I learned what good food really was. So that when I went out in the real world,
you met some real Italians.
I would compare it to, hey, that's terrible at this restaurant because that's what I had was good. Anyway, so yeah.
Of course, Italians taught you that.
Well, they did.
And Italian, in my opinion, my favorite food to get anywhere.
Well, I do too. And here's the thing. As you know, I hate to fly.
Mm-hmm.
So I've never been to Italy.
Right.
It's my dream.
Of course.
But it's only my dream if I could be transported immediately from Marin County to Italy within moments.
Or
but if I
I'm
have
assuming
to
in more luxury. So if you have
no,
really...
it could be on, what is that?
Like the bed, like the ones with beds and everything.
Yeah, what is that? The country that has that airlines.
Singapore.
No. In the Middle East, they had got whatever that airport.
Dubai,
right? That with that airlines that it's like your own suite. No, it doesn't make a difference. I just don't like flying
for that
because one, I'm claustrophobic.
I'm afraid of Santa Claus too. It's okay.
And 2 is I don't like the long flights. So all these years that I should have gone before I was claustrophobic to Italy, I never went. So I'll never go. I doubt I'll ever go again.
Right.
I'll never go.
You manifested the trip
which really upsets me because that is the one country in the world that I really want to go to eat their food. Listen, talking about beefs. I was driving down the freeway coming home from work on a beautiful night, 70 degrees outside on the freeway, tops down.
You take off your shirt when you drive?
I do not. Not that top. Pants are down, but not the top.
Winnie the Poohing it while you drive.
And I forgot to put there's a windscreen in the back. So I had my windows up,
Right.
and there's a windscreen in the back of the car that you push a button and the windscreen comes up. But I didn't push the button, so I'm driving down the road and I go, oh, I forgot to put the windscreen up. It's going to help, with the wind, I assume, right? So and there wasn't really much wind inside the car with the windows up. So I push the button, the windscreen goes up. There was more wind when the windscreen was up than when it was down. Now look, I don't want to say anything about German technology.
As a Jewish man, I know we have some conflict, okay?
I'm clear they know how to build ovens, okay? But I was actually, for the first time, going, how could it be less windy with the windscreen? Because they put this windscreen there to screen the wind, but when you actually put it up, there's more wind than when you put it down. And I just discovered this. Right. I'm gonna be calling Mercedes.
Of course. Here we go.
And having that discussion, and then here's what they're going to say to me.
Ruining some poor schmuck's day, but yes, continue.
With that particular weather on those particular circumstances.
Oh, there we go. Yeah.
The windscreen may not work, but so here's what I'm saying.
What's that noise? Do you hear that?
Bullshit?
The world's tiniest violin playing for you right now. It's a symphony.
Well, wait a minute now. So that was one of my problems with my vehicle.
Okay, a windscreen, that's a smoke screen. Whatever. 2,
after about a year driving my car, and it took about a year before this started happening, my car wouldn't start in the morning until I kept doing it and push button, finally would start. So,
like a toddler.
What's going on? So I get a hold of the dealership, who I can't stand, and I'll tell you about that in a minute.
You don't need to.
Okay. And they say, your particular model, my particular model, it'll do this, but all you need to do is take your key and put it in the phone charger. There's this phone charger pad that's in the console, and you put the key in there, and the car will start, which in fact it does.
Right.
Now, it's not the worst inconvenience in the world. It's not like, oh my God, people are starving and my car won't start unless I put a key in it.
Well, it's defeating the purpose of a push button, but yeah.
That's my point.
And here's my point. There's a famous quote that I love from my favorite web series, The Gay and Wondrous Life of Caleb, I think it's Gallagher or Galeo. No, Gallagher. I don't know. Someone's going to correct me on that, and they should.
Yeah.
And Freckle, one of the main characters, she says, sometimes things that are expensive are worse.
Well, here you go. Perfect example.
That's exactly what you're telling me. And listen, it's because a lot of this luxury brand stuff, it's all scams. There's a lot of people with a lot of money who don't pay a lot of attention. So there's a lot that goes under the rug in order to mass produce certain things. That's why so many people have Teslas, even though they fall apart. That's all I'm saying. But
all I'm saying is,
so it's not like you're paying the fullest for this car in the first place. Oh.
I called Mercedes after the dealer told me to put the key into the thing.
Right.
And I said, listen, my car doesn't start. I called Mercedes, literally the factory. I called the factory. And I said, listen, my key, we've never heard of this. There's no memo. When car manufacturers have a problem with their vehicle, there's a memo that goes out to all the dealerships.
Oh, yeah, I know.
And it could be a recall, whatever. There's no memo. It's non-existent. This shouldn't be happening. Oh, really? Okay. So anyway, 6 months later, I bring my car back to the guy, and I said, hey, I'm having the same problem. He said, no, you put the key in, and here's what we found out. During COVID, the height of COVID, which still exists, as we both know, where cars were sitting on the lots for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks, the cars would not start. But when they put the key into the pad, the car started. So what he's saying to me is that this is something that we discovered during COVID. And I'm saying to this guy, since March 17th or 20th, I always forget, 2020,
Yeah.
since the lockdown, I've been working every single day, and my car was starting for a year just by pushing the button, and all of a sudden it didn't. So I don't believe him.
He's a liar.
So here's what I'm going to do.
Oh, here's what he's going to do.
When I come down to visit you girls next week, you and I specifically, because it'll be fun, we'll do it as a goof.
Will it be fun? It'll be fun for you, I bet.
It's going to be a goof.
Oh, yeah. I'll be laughing for sure.
We're going to walk in and I'm going to massage these guys, okay? And I'm going to say, listen.
I don't need to watch that.
I'm having a problem.
You can do that. You can do whatever you do on your own time, okay?
I'm going to tell them what my problem is and what my dealer told me up here. And then I'm going to
don't think you can just bring your hot daughter in there and you'll get everything you want, okay? Okay? You're insufferable to deal with in a retail or service.
I will
tell. You should be paying me money to walk in there with you.
I will say I've decided to go to your dealership where I know you have all the answers versus my podunk dealership in Marin County here. And can you help me with this situation? And I believe that they're going to help me. Now, what are the what?
I hope they do, and I hope they get you professional help too. I really do.
Okay.
I really do. No, listen, I know a lot of people are sympathizing with you so heavily because this is such a problem, that you're dealing with.
Not about sympathy. It's about a simple thing where the cheapest car in the world starts on a daily basis, but a Mercedes doesn't start on a daily basis.
Exactly.
Come on, man.
I mean, you're just proving my point more and more by the moment.
Now
let's get into the real stuff, okay?
Yeah.
Let's get into, what we have been, I think, politely holding off for our viewers because we want them to get some more of us before we get into what we have been getting to now every episode. Now, it's not our fault. We can't control the news. We can't control the media. But what we can control is what we decide to report. And we're deciding to report on Vanderpump Rules.
I'm there with you, sister.
And it's just something that people are going to have to accept. I know we're a new podcast. We're supposed to appease the public. But God damn it, we need to talk about Scandoval.
Listen to me.
I'm listening.
It's a ridiculous thing, but here's what we know. It is a huge, massive story. It shouldn't be, but it is.
It's considered a current event.
And it's so big that the woman that was cheated on just sat in the White House it's not at the White House.
It's the correspondence dinner.
But the White House correspondence dinner, and Ariana Madix was invited. By
Lisa.
But no, and Lisa came. She came with Lisa and Lala to
Lala.
the White, right?
And they're invited. Oh yeah, they're invited by the Daily Mail.
I mean, think about that. That's
and
how big this story is.
The Daily Mail could be inviting a lot of people.
Rupert Murdoch. I mean, I don't know, but I'm just saying. Think about that. Ariana Madix is it's crazy how big this story is.
And listen, as someone who's not only a Cancer, so I understand her pain, but two, I understand, not to her extent, because I've never been in a 10-year relationship, but the feeling of being cheated on, nothing feels more like justice than what is happening for her. And I'm so happy for her. I don't even know this woman personally, but I've never been so happy for someone who is thriving after such a, emotionally devastating thing.
In front of the world. In front of the world. It's just mind-blowing to me how big this news is.
It's just watching things like this happen, in my opinion, of course, is not only the best revenge, but two, I think some good, not karma, but almost just something really bad happened to you. It's kind of to show people you can hit the bottom But, you know, if you keep up, you can build yourself back up and really make ways out of it. And this is the perfect example how you make lemons out of lemonade, baby.
Listen, because of
lemons
her...
out of lemonade. You actually reverse it, the process.
Right. Listen.
You take out the sugar, you put it back in the fruit.
Boom.
Put it back on the tree. Yeah.
This actually was beneficial to her life in two ways.
Yes.
One, she got rid of the scumbag.
There you go.
And
that's
two,
already a blessing.
She became more famous and has more opportunities now than she had when she was with that schmuck.
Exactly. And now she gets to have a little fun with her trainer that we're seeing, which is like, we love to see
Well, is it her trainer? I don't think it's her trainer.
I don't know.
I think she met a guy that is a trainer.
It's just a
right.
trainer.
But he lives in New York. She's in L.A.
Oh, okay. Then, yeah.
But
he might have trained her before, though. I don't know.
Possibly.
Regardless, that's a very sexy situation, and I'm happy for her for that.
Right.
And
but this woman now has movies going on. She's been in
good.
Europe.
She
looks great.
Looks good.
She's opening up her sandwich shop.
And as someone, you know, she deals with a lot of mental health issues. To come out of this being able to glow, it just goes to show you she was dropping dead weight.
Yeah,
she was
absolutely.
taken out. The trash took itself out, actually, which is really incredible when you think about it.
Yeah, no, that's like a good thing. Like he actually exited, you know, but it okay. He played it up to the very end.
God, he's pissing me off with this right now.
I love you. You're the greatest.
And then right now what he's doing on this show is pissing me off even more. How he's created some fake narrative to antagonize Ariana, right? And then...
Like what? Tell me what you're talking about.
Well, you know, like right now on this show, we're watching him talk about how, you know, she's not as supportive or, you know, they're having their issues. And then almost...
Oh, in the show. Yeah.
On the actual show. And almost every
questioning
time,
their relationship.
And almost every time, like, they would have conversations on, you know, the show where he's kind of like, I feel like you don't hear me out. She ends up being extremely receptive to it. And you can see the frustration on his face that his plan's not working. Almost like he expected her to lash out or something.
Yeah.
But it's because he's actually never said those things to her before. He's never actually tried to improve the relationship. He's a coward. He's a little bitch. And he's never actually... said what he actually meant, which is why they're in this place now, because he thinks they've had all these issues where she's suppressing their relationship, and it's like he's never been honest in their relationship. He's cheated on her multiple times, and this is, you know, the first time it's a lot more on an emotional level as far as we know. We don't know what else he's done, but it's like he was really trying his best to make her seem, you know, like a bad guy. This whole thing with the kids and then the eggs, how she's willing to do the thing with the eggs. And then, you know, and then now we have, right, we watched this last episode, him and Schwartz at Yeasty Boys, which, side note, great bagels. We'll have to, you know.
Food truck.
It's a food truck. And
they're standing at the food truck.
And they're standing at
ordering.
the food truck. And they start talking about Raquel. And this is before we know anything, right? But Schwartz knows. And Schwartz actually thinks we believe him when he says he's not attracted to Raquel and that the vibe is not there. Now, I believe him.
And he thinks
that
she's
she
got
likes
a crush. And Tom's going, really? Now, instead of Tom saying, really? Who do you think she has a crush on?
Doesn't even go there.
Doesn't even ask.
Because he doesn't want that to be part of the conversation.
Because he already knows the answer.
And in fact, I think Schwartz saying that was Schwartz playing into it, right? To help plant. Like, it was Schwartz thinking, I need to plant this already. And I could tell Sandoval was like, one, I don't even want to have this conversation. But two, why are you bringing this up? But also, he wants to hear that from Schwartz, too. So it's like, I can tell Sandoval is always going through, like, he's doing mental gymnastics 24/7, just figuring out how to justify this terrible behavior, and he can't. And so what we see on Vanderpump Rules is wannabe actors, right? Now, some of them do a better job at the acting part as others in terms of, like, Lala, for example. I think she's like a good actor in terms of, like, she convinces us when she's really upset about something she knew she signed herself up for. You know, she plays up herself very well. When she gets in arguments, she does her little thing very well. She's a good reality actor and does scenes very well. The two Toms in that, I think, was some of the worst reality acting I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
It was so obviously planned, scripted. Like, it was so premeditated that it was such... I got secondhand embarrassment from watching that scene. Like, it was so...
That's a good one. Secondhand embarrassment.
Disturbingly bad. And it's
I think that should
and
be
it
in
pissed
this...
me off, too, you know?
Yeah, I mean, who are they fooling, you know? But of course, but here's the problem, as you know.
Right.
Is we know what's already happened.
Yeah.
And yet we're watching the show, which is after things have already happened. So my point is this. Had we not known about what had happened with the breakup and the this and that, and we saw that particular show, for example, we'd be shocked.
Right.
Oh my God. Is Tom really fooling around with Ariana? Well, we know he's already fooling around it because the cat's out of the bag. Now, most people are saying Bravo's crazy, but at the same time, they're really not, because one, we're talking about it. Two, we're going to watch all the shows.
Right.
And,
anyway.
And even though the sit down has already happened.
Right.
It's already happened.
We need to see it play out.
We can't wait to see that sit down.
Oh, of course. And here's the thing, too. I think there's strategy behind the kind of making people buy the reality part of it by revealing things. Like, I think there's a necessity with, like, certain information or questions being asked on Watch What Happens, for example, Andy bringing them up or alluding to them, and then having the guest on the show be like, they'll find out on the show. Because, one, people demand these things, but two, I think the subjects need to be staying in people's minds, and they're helping us, like, gather our focus to the right areas. And so they need to do that, knowing also we're going to watch it at the end of the day, because we need to watch these things unfold, whether we know every single thing that happens on that episode or not.
Yeah.
We want to watch it actually happen and play out.
Yeah, no. And what this show has proven to me more than anything is I am sicker than I ever thought I was.
God, you and me both.
I mean, this is the most
class.
ridiculous thing in life to even have to talk about. But as I've said before, and I'll say it again, I love reality shows,
right?
Because they make me laugh.
Yeah.
I there's nothing that I believe or that I love to watch. It's like watching a car crash, right? It really is. So to watch. I
don't laugh at car crashes.
Well, I mean,
I'm
you're
not
right.
evil.
You know what I'm saying.
I know.
It's just great to be able to after a heavy day of work to sit down and watch the ridiculousness.
Other people ruin their lives.
Ridiculousness, which is a show on MTV,
which you also are obsessed
which I love as well. But it's the ridiculousness of these shows and how people, they really do think it's complete and total reality. There is reality to these shows. There is. I mean, there's no question.
People's real lives are involved. Yes,
they are.
The being on the show impacts their lives. Yes, 100%. Yes. And the things that go down, such as the affairs, the scandals, the blah blah blah, that happen. I mean, the foundation. And I talked about this last episode. The foundation of Vanderpump Rules started on an affair that was related to the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. So it's like they're able to kind of put together these social circles, these shameless social circles, and it really becomes more than anything observing. It's human Animal Planet. That's what it is.
Yeah.
It's like watching Animal Planet, just people, and it's so and I feel personally, and maybe I should feel a little more bad for watching it, but I really don't. I don't feel bad for watching it because generally the people get picked for these shows don't necessarily have a lot of moral compass that I can align with.
No, of course.
And so watching these things happen, I don't get stressed out, even though if they're real or not real. It's not like I'm like, oh God, I'm so worried about this person. If anything, I'm like when Scandoval, the feeling I had when I got that first text message from my friend telling me about Raquel and Sandoval, I unfortunately felt a joy I don't think a lot of things could give me in life.
Right.
The feeling of knowing that my next few months in life, I get to talk about this subject to everyone around me,
Yeah.
and the excitement of watching one of my, like, it's like watching a fictional show, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and let's say it's a fictional show based off of a book. And so you know a certain part is going to happen, so you get really excited for that part to happen. That's essentially what Scandoval did for me.
Yeah. Yeah. Whoops.
And it's thrilling.
Listen, there was a lot of stuff that went on last show. We're not going to go into all of it. I'm just going to kind of highlight a couple of things.
Right.
Right. Okay.
Key,
which is key things.
Right.
One of the things that, well, first of all, people are starting to obviously suspect that there's this relationship between Sandoval and Raquel.
Because the Abby incident.
Yeah, that's the main kind of thing. But you see Tom and Raquel kind of hanging out together. They're at the wedding. They're sitting next to each other when they're at the dinner.
Right.
They're at the Japanese restaurant. They're sitting next to each other. They're at the bar when they're playing on the beach.
Right.
Everybody went down to the beach. She's hanging out. So, you can see he's grabbing her butt. We saw that. We talked about that. Okay. So there's all of that. Then there's an interesting thing where Ariana and Katie, who I'm sorry. I mean, even though her ex-husband, Tom Schwartz, is he is what I would call a complete idiot in every way. In other words, he is completed idiocracy.
You're right, but he's not bright. He's not. But what I don't like about him even more is he weaponizes his incompetence. Like, he's very strategic about it. And there's times where he knows exactly what he's doing and plays into, like, the big old goof that doesn't know anything. And that's what I think he's more evil than anyone. Well, look, a lot of people on that show because of that.
Okay. They all went to the beach one day.
Right.
And Hermosa Beach, by the way. Sandoval was there. Everybody was there, but James was there with his new girlfriend, Allie. And then Raquel walks into the beach and immediately sits down next to Allie like they're buddy-buddy, which I'm sure makes Allie feel uncomfortable, which I could care less than whether she's uncomfortable or not. I think Raquel's trying to prove
something, too.
Like, I'm going to be the bigger of the two,
right,
I'm going to hang out.
Right, yeah. And but also, anyway, she really doesn't care at the end of the day. She does not give a fuck about James Kennedy.
Exactly. So. She's in there for the show.
Right.
But James Kennedy apparently was very upset when at least this is his story, that he was doing this festival in Atlanta. There was 30 to 50,000 out. It's either 30,000 or it's 50,000. What is it? Okay. That tells me it's 30,000. Well, right. Whatever.
There's no
gap. And he's opening up for some guy, Cascade. Do you know who this person is, Cascade? Okay, I don't, but that doesn't mean the guy's nobody. I just don't know who he is.
Yeah.
Whatever.
He got that job from being on the show, but yeah.
But he got the shot, not because he's a good DJ.
Exactly.
Okay, and nobody was recognizing it. So
Schwartz.
Tom Schwartz says, "Oh, is it as big as Archella?"
No, Rachella.
Rachella.
Which was James's proposal to Raquel. That was Coachella themed. That Sandoval helped pay $15,000 for
the fireworks and this and that. The point being, that was funny. Okay, it's outright funny. But James took it as a complete insult.
Of course.
And he throws whatever he had, I guess it was water, on Tom Schwartz's face.
Right. Which, to me,
now, any man
was extremely satisfying.
I know it was. Now, any man worth his weight in gold would have stood up and done one of two things: either kicked his ass or called him out.
Right.
Schwartz did neither.
No.
He said, "The next time, next time you do something about that."
Right.
Well,
right.
how about this time?
Give him another chance.
Right. How about this time? Okay.
Because
he's a wuss. He's a wuss.
So no, I mean, listen. Schwartz is literally known for throwing drinks on people. Yeah. He threw a drink on Stassi. He threw a drink on his own ex-wife, Katie. And I remember that one more than anything. Because what he did, he started pouring it, right? And she goes, "Tom," and he extends his arm and shakes the cup on her. Like, like it's one thing to react with a quick drink, right? Because that's a reaction. That's like a slap, right? But to pour and then keep pouring, that's like punch. Like that's like you are so mad at this person, you want them to keep, and he did this to his own wife.
Yeah.
And so watching that drink go in his face, I know felt amazing for Katie. I know.
No, listen, I know that. Here's
watching it.
Here's my thing.
I felt renewed.
I love watching it, but I can't stand James even more. So in other words, my point is, I'd rather see James get his ass kicked. I
get what you're saying. There wasn't the satisfaction of him getting his ass kicked.
Yeah.
Which, don't get me wrong, I would have loved to see too.
I would have loved to see that fight.
But we got something way better just about 5 minutes later in the show, where James gets a drink in his eye and cries like a little.
I thought somebody stabbed him.
And he actually runs to the bathroom like a little, like crying. So I think, personally,
Karma.
I think that's more humiliating than getting your ass kicked.
Yeah, no,
that's way more humiliating. Because if you get your ass kicked, you can be like, well, I kind of deserve that for throwing a drink. You know what I mean? That's kind of like that's what someone does when you throw a drink at you. What happened after that? That is the universe pointing out the obvious in that situation.
No. Listen,
but no, I think Tom Schwartz deserves a gallon poured on him. And Anna, I would have loved to see a fight between those two, because honestly, I'm not going to say who would win or who would lose, but
I think James would win.
It would look pathetic on both parts.
I think James, he's in better shape. He's taller
and angrier
and more pissed off
and angrier. But what I'm envisioning right now is two girls pulling their hair.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I see. Just I don't see punches being thrown. I see like hands like grabbing at each other, but like I don't think those men know how to fight.
But here's the funniest thing. Did you see the camera, it panned off to the different people that were sitting down? Everybody's, the faces.
I know. Which, listen, I
really?
get the emotion. If I were in that moment, I would be like, honestly, I'd have the same reaction as I did watching it for the first time. I'd just be like,
I'd be like, let's go, baby. I love this. Let's go.
I'm so surprised they didn't get footage of Katie. Maybe she didn't want to and wants to seem like the bigger person, but I'm so surprised they didn't get footage. They didn't get footage of her saying like, how satisfying that was to watch, because
Let's talk about a couple more things before we go, which is that when they were at the bar after the beach. And I can't quite remember what James was talking about, but Allie told him to sit down and shut up.
Which is like, how is that the first time we've ever heard anyone say that to him?
Yeah. 5 years with Raquel, not a word. And Allie, and the reason is because, listen, you'll never convince me that Allie has anything to do with this guy other than the fact it's the show and this is the way. And didn't you tell me that Allie supposedly was on this show that never got off his feet?
Yeah.
About the Valley or something?
Exactly. It was a burnout reality show. This is clearly for press. So she doesn't give a fuck about James or losing him or whatever. She can talk to him however she wants, which is very enjoyable to watch. I love watching her.
There's something about, she has to, she lives with the guy.
Yeah. It's because, Dad, you had to think about it this way. Not a lot of people in general, not attractive or unattractive, would tolerate being around this guy.
Right.
He's just, there's no
he's a case.
There's no good attributes about him.
No.
On top of that, as someone that has a reality persona, his expectations or standards are probably just, she's got to be attractive and then, not whatchamacallit, whether it's a clout chaser or not, because she is a clout chaser, but like someone that doesn't seem like they're begging for something. And because she's established, has a family that had money, was on a reality show before, to his mind, he sees her as not having ulterior motives.
Oh, I understand his side.
But that's all I'm saying is, and
but
for her,
she is making
This is just the easiest thing in the world.
But she's making a deal with the devil.
Of course,
because she's going to be tainted.
Tell me,
by
Dad,
the fact that she was with this guy.
Young lady, and do you see a bright young lady who makes great decisions?
No.
Exactly.
No.
That's all I gotta say.
No.
I mean, it's just, for me, it's just obvious, and because I've lived in LA long enough, I see this everywhere. Everyone has ulterior motives. Everything's transactional. And so what I see with Allie is just the most blatant version of it. You know what I mean? It's like, there's no bullshit. Well, there is bullshitting, but there's no, phoniness when it comes to like her actual, you know, like I think there's only so much she can tolerate herself that she's just like, yeah, I mean, if I lose this, it's fine. I'm already on the show.
Well, okay. We're going to find that out soon because they're still together right now.
I know.
Finally, let's talk very quickly. Have you been by the sandwich shop? The Ariana and Katie sandwich?
Not yet.
Okay. Get a chance because apparently, now this is what's interesting. I kept saying, where are the investors? Where are the investors? So apparently they got a lease around in the same block as Sir.
Okay.
I don't know what landlord would give those girls a lease unless there was some money behind them, because you don't give leases to people unless they're going to do something.
Yeah, we already
talked. They're saying we're looking for investors. So I don't understand how you get a lease without the investors.
Same. We're on the same question we had last time. I don't know what to tell you.
Well, we'll have to see. Now, I just want to see if there's anything. Oh, just one more thing about that. Ariana is talking about having her eggs fertilized and asking Tom to do it. And when Tom Schwartz asked Tom said, yeah, I'll do it. Yeah, I want to do it. Yeah. And the joke is, and it's not a joke, is now that they're broken up, right? Mm-hmm. Thank God, at least we hope, he didn't fertilize those eggs. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, even if he did, they still would have to use. I mean, they still need a body.
No, I understand, but it would be a Tommy and an Ariana baby.
Oh yeah, I don't know how the rights work over that either. Regardless,
no. But I'm saying scientifically, it's a Tom and Ariana baby if he fertilized their eggs, and she's not going for that. So she might just get rid of those. It's not like he fertilized
all of them. I think they were just gonna try.
I have no idea. I have no idea.
I have no idea how that stuff works, and I don't even want to get into the politics of it. But it all freaks me out at the end of the day.
All right, finally, a little levity here before we go.
Yeah.
A little levity. Okay. Couple of things I looked up just for fun. You know me, I like to have these little things, remember the Volvo and the bird and this and that.
You like your little fun facts.
I just think it's kind of interesting, these amazing facts. The longest mustache, 14 feet.
Wow.
Think
on
about
the mouth
that. Or? Yes, on the mouth. And
how tall was the guy?
No, and I'm going to say this because it's true, not because it has anything to do racially or otherwise.
I'm scared of this comment already.
No. This is an Indian, meaning from India. And this is
Indian man, yes.
This is not uncommon, is what I'm saying. That some of these guys grow these big, large mustaches. I'm just telling you.
Well,
it's not a cultural thing, but whatever.
Well, it is in terms of the food that a lot of the food in India is extremely nutritious. So because there's a lot of spices, herbs that are like that we eat, like have in our daily vitamins. That's just like natural in India. That promotes hair growth. That promotes nail growth. That promotes all of these things. There's a lot of Indian either traditions or remedies,
cultural things
that the West use out here to promote those things. So that does make sense. It has nothing to do with the person themselves genetically, but probably just more like the food, and then through time, it can be.
All right. Well, here's another
genetically promoted, but yes.
A woman, Lee Redmond from America.
Okay.
For 30 years, grew her nails. Her nails are 28 feet, 4 inches. We're not going to go over how does she do this and how does she do that and how does she do this.
Yeah. Everyone always asks the ass wiping question. My question, or not my question, actually just more of my answer is, You'll never be able to wash your hands efficiently. And for that, I say goodbye.
And finally, a comedian by the name of David Scott,
It's a made-up
USA,
name, but yeah.
performed the longest stand-up comedy show. He lasted 40 hours and 8 minutes telling jokes.
Well, that's like to hear us talking for an hour. So,
Right. So there's a little fun facts.
That I can only assume that was for either a charity event or to break the record. There's only like really two reasons you do that, right? Is to break a record or to do it for that. Usually on running things are for charity or something, right? So listen, very fun facts about long things. I know you don't know a lot about long things, so it's interesting that you looked into that.
Well, I like other people's, that's why.
Long things, exactly. And for anyone else that wants to talk about long things, you can email us at talktopod@gmail.com. You can check out our Twitter or TikTok. That's Talk to Ya Pod. And then our Instagram, which is the most active, I'd say, Talk to Ya Podcast. Yeah.
All right, sweetie. Well, I love you. And we've had fun today.
It's been a pleasure. I will
talk to you.
All right.
Bye.
Okay, boo. Love you. Talk to ya.
Love you. Talk to ya.